week's episode of PO Sports Talk. I'm Lizzie Arbogast with Sean Michael, and we've got some playoffs coming about.
Not before we have some snow coming about.
Oh, more snow. I hate it. I'm so over it. I'm definitely a Virginia girl. So District 3 playoffs start on Friday. So we'll start with the Waynesboro boys, who are going to travel to Lebanon High School, hopefully, on Friday night.
Yeah, as long as snow permitting. I mean, what we know about Waynesboro, you know, transition, offense, good defense, but you have some information on Lebanon. Why don't you tell us about them a little bit?
Yeah, so we got some info. It looks like Lebanon has 2 scorers that are both in averaging double figures for the season. They also have another, tough couple of defenders on their team that maybe don't score a lot, but can put down a good defense. It sounds like they've got a couple of good reserves off the bench that are all some decent guards. So it's hard to tell just based on records. I mean, they don't have any common opponents. They've never played each other this season.
Yep.
It's really hard to tell. I mean, last season one of the football coaches described a district playoff as a blind date.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what to expect. I mean,
Never.
The way it sounds like, Waynesboro has 2 double-figure scorers. Lebanon has 2 double-figure scorers. Waynesboro has some decent reserves. Lebanon has some decent reserves. So, seems like it should be a good game, I would
We're
think.
set up for a good game. I mean, you have, what we're used to seeing from Connor Federhoff, Devontae Montgomery, Seth Hoffman, and, they're going to have to shoot well to win. That's Waynesboro's thing. They got to play good defense and they got to shoot well. They've lost 3 of their last 5 games, albeit against Boiling Springs and Carlisle, no slouches.
Very good
But,
teams.
they're going to be looking to turn things around, and I expect them to come out, with a lot of energy.
I wonder if the road thing is going to matter, because Lebanon is, it's a trek. It's probably close to 2 hours for Waynesboro. I know they travel well. They're trying to get a fan bus to go down.
Yeah.
So I think the fans will be there, but 2 hours of sitting on a bus.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing for Waynesboro is they got to really come out with that pressure on defense, get a big lead, and maybe quiet that crowd so that they're not a big of a factor down the road. Right. That's their biggest thing, I would say.
Right. And then our only girls team in District 3 playoffs is Greencastle girls.
Yeah.
They struggled a bit last night against a very good Cumberland Valley team in the mid-conference playoffs.
I lost a Frosty to that one, by the way. Thanks, Greencastle.
Which we weren't, too shocked about. Cumberland Valley is a very, very strong team, but Greencastle probably did not play its best game.
No, they shot very poorly. I mean, they scored very little in the first half. They were held scoreless halfway through the first quarter. I don't think Greencastle brought their best game to the table, and I think they're going to learn from that. They haven't had hardly any adversity this year. I mean, their closest game was a 2-point win over Big Spring, but other than that, they've dominated every game. And now they got hit in the teeth a little bit, and I think that's going to help them going into playoffs.
Right. And also what's going to help them going into playoffs is that they have a very familiar matchup. They're going to host Gettysburg in the first round.
This one's not a blind date. We know a lot about this one.
Yes, and Greencastle has beaten them by at least double figures.
An average of 21 points, yeah.
Right.
The first time they played, it was close. Greencastle got out to a big lead, but they never really built on it. But the second time, they beat them by almost 30 points.
Right.
So we'll see which game comes about. I think Greencastle is going to be ready to play. I think Mike Ryan's going to have them going.
Right.
I would say.
And then they should have a decent matchup if they are able to advance.
Yeah, they'll play the winner between Lancaster Catholic and Susquehanna. Again, we don't know much about them, but we'll have to find that information as we go. We'll have to wait. That game, when does Lancaster Catholic and Susquehanna play?
That would be February 22nd, which is next Saturday. Greencastle is hosting its game on Wednesday. Over in District 5, deadline isn't quite yet, but things are starting to shake out. We'll start with girls, because Southern Fulton's doing really well again.
Yeah, Southern Fulton jumped actually to the #1 seed in single A girls, and they have a game against Everett tonight, but we don't expect them to lose. But if they would, they could drop back. It still doesn't seem likely. I think they have that pretty much locked down.
Right.
So they would start, you said next Saturday, right?
Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
They'll host a game.
And as of right now, the 8th seed is Myersdale, so that would be the team they'd face. But again, that's changing. Myersdale still has 2 games left, so there could be a fluctuation in that. But as of right now, that's who they're set to square off against. And then we have McConnellsburg, who's at the 5 seed, also with 2 games left. And as it stands right now, they would play Conemaugh Township, who also has 2 games left. So again, you never know. They could go up, they could go down. I'm sure they want to try to get a couple wins and get a home game. They would definitely love that.
Right. Over on the boys' side, we actually have quite a few teams that are going to probably make the playoffs. In single A boys, the top 8 teams are going to make the playoffs. So we've actually got Forbes Road, Phantom Meadow, and McConnellsburg, which might bring about some eye-popping because Phantom Meadow and McConnellsburg both have losing records and are going to look to probably make the playoffs. Phantom Meadow could face off against Forbes Road, who currently only has through 5 losses. I think they're 13-5 as of right now. And McConnellsburg will probably finish the 8th seed if they do make it, and then they would play Berlin, and that would obviously be a very, very tough game as their number 1 seed in the district.
For you, when you look at Forbes Road possibly facing off against Phantom Meadow, how would you see that playing out? I mean, they've already played each other twice this year.
They have played each other twice this year.
So, I mean, what would you see from that game?
You know, Phantom Meadow, I think they've been doing some good things lately. You know, they've been getting, Ben Metcalf has been getting a little bit more involved, which has been good for them. Mikkel McGee, I know, has been really, really strong for them this season. But I just don't see them being able to overtake the offensive strength of Forbes Road because Forbes Road has a lot of people that can put down a lot of points on any given night, and they can shoot the ball really well when they want to.
Yeah.
In AA, Southern Fulton looks to probably have locked up the 2nd seed of District 5, which means that they will get a bye through the first round.
Yep.
So.
Unless possibly Forbes Road beats Northern Bedford, which is Friday night.
Right.
And I think that might be the first time in a few years that Southern Fulton is rooting for Forbes Road to win a game.
Yes, exactly. Rivalries go out the window when seeding comes into play. So, got a lot coming down the stretch. So, until next week, enjoy the games.